Welcome to episode 102 of the Nerd Rundown podcast. This week, our theme song creator, Jason Sparks, is back on the show to talk about Baretta May's latest release. Disney Plus drops release dates for Ahsoka, Echo, and Loki. I'll just say that your fall is going to be busy. The first reviews for Indiana Jones are in, and it's not looking good. Find out which trailer Jason wishes he could have reacted to as we wrap up the show with a great Nerd Box question from Mike Hodgkinson. Ready? Hit it!
Welcome back to the Nerd Rundown podcast, where we cover the latest in the nerd world of movies, TV, and more. I am Darren Stemple.
Ahoy, mateys. I'm Erik Hare.
And I'm Jason Sparks.
Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. If this is your first time, then please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our new shows that do get released at different times. You can also find us on our social media like Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all at the Nerd Rundown. Also, you can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. Before we continue, let's hear a word about our sponsor, Combat the Chaos. It's no secret here at the Nerd Rundown that we support our veterans and our first responders. We ask that you do the same thing through our sponsor, Combat the Chaos. They're a veteran-owned clothing company that donates part of their proceeds to other amazing organizations supporting these warriors and guardians. If you're a veteran, you're at a 57% higher risk of suicide than those who have not served. As a veteran myself, this cause hits very close to home. This shirt and hat are some of the items available if you follow our link in the description down below to combatthechaos.com. Use the discount code NRD for 15% off and help us fight this battle that veterans and first responders so desperately need. Now, back to the rundown. All right, welcome back to the Nerd Rundown podcast. We are joined today, as you can see and hear, by the great Jason Sparks. He's been a host on the podcast many times. More importantly, he's the creator of all the great music you hear on this show and some of the other shows, the presents you did. Not all the music, but the main themes. You are the main theme of the show, Jason. So glad to have you on. I know you got some big news you want to talk about for your band, Baretta May.
Yeah, sure. We just released a new EP about 2 weeks ago now. So that is on all streaming platforms. There's stuff up on YouTube if you want to check it out. We are kind of storyboarding and working on our first real music video. It's going to be for one of the songs.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Okay, tell me more about that.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
What you can tell us.
Yeah, I would say there's not really a lot to say. It's going to be kind of a fun project. We're shooting it and editing and doing all of that ourselves, like we do with all the music. So that's going to be pretty crazy. We also are setting up to do start playing shows out, touring a little bit in the fall. So,
ooh. Have you been on tour before?
Yeah, a lot of times. Baretta May has not done anything for at least live for 11 years or more,
Ooh.
I think. Yeah, so we're gonna do that, and all the music when we write and record is just me and Joey. But we've recruited some amazing musicians to go play the shows live with us. So
Cool.
Nice.
it'll be as much as we can get to be live, we'll be live, which is going to make it a lot more fun. So, I mean, really, that's pretty much the news. Of course, everything that's going on with us is up on barettamay.com. Check it out there, see the dates.
So this is the Feel Alive is what,
Yep.
is what this one's called? Okay.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. I totally forgot. Yep. So it's the Feel Alive
Podcast
EP
brain.
that we just
Okay.
podcast brain.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you could go check that out, we would love that. Leave reviews on whatever platform. That stuff, as you all know, helps out a lot. So, we get a lot more visibility that way. So we'd appreciate it.
I can hear Meg typing away the review right now because she's become a super fan of Baretta May. It's really great to see.
Well, and
Meg
her little guy,
yeah.
JP.
I was going to say JP might be the biggest fan.
Yeah, I think JP might be running the show when it comes to that. So he really likes that drive out on the town track that you guys did. When was that one? What album was that? Or what
That was, I think, 2.5 years ago.
oh, okay.
That was towards the start of us getting back together and releasing music again.
Yeah. So
And
were you
took,
guys
like, a
recording
9-year
earlier and then you kind of took a break or what?
Well, we used to be a full band back in 2008, 2009. We were all from New Mexico and moved out to California together and spent a while out there getting it ready, and then started playing shows and doing things, and it lasted a few years, but people started having kids and other things, and
Life.
Like
life,
adulthood stuff.
life happened,
Life,
Yeah.
good old life.
and then
Life
right,
happens.
and luckily we're in a place now to be able to do it again. So
That's awesome.
amazing.
It's
So
so
now
awesome.
when you guys did your shows in like the 2008, 2009 timeframe, were they anything like the shows from Yes Man with Jim Carrey and
Is that Paul Rudd?
no, it's
that's Zoe Deschanel.
Zoe
Zoe
Deschanel,
Deschanel, yeah.
where she has that band. It's like
how can I forget?
Munchausen by
Oh, that-
proxy or something like that. Was
the avant-garde rock band.
yeah, right.
It was exactly like that, except for
Okay.
we were all young enough to not wear shirts and
Beautiful.
and wonderful things that are not going to happen anymore.
Yeah. So the stories about the groupies are true, is what you're trying to tell me. Is
Whoa.
And I'm
Whoa.
not saying anything.
Well,
That's
it's
awesome.
only on the internet. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
just a little group of people.
Yeah. So like I've listened to the Signals. I love the Signals Volume 1.
Yeah.
Is there any plans to give us a Volume 2, a follow up on that?
So yeah, I mean, I guess yes is the answer. There's actually a full album that's been recorded and was supposed to be Signals 2, and it has not come out. We recorded it 11 years ago.
It's because
Did
you
you
got to
really?
name it Signal
Yeah.
Harder.
Signal Harder.
So now is that locked in the vault and
Sort of. The studio that recorded that has it still, and we actually have been talking with the producer about putting it out. So
nice.
last
That'd
I
be
talked
cool.
to him,
So I was just trying to make a joke, but that's that's terrific, man. That's awesome.
it kind of feels like a joke because it's been 11 years since Volume 1 came out.
Yeah.
I kind of don't even want to call Volume 2 when we release it, and just give it its own. And let Volume 1 just live where it lives.
Yeah. That's funny.
Just because it's called Volume 1 doesn't mean you need to have a Volume 2.
You know what? You're absolutely right.
It's Volume 1 is the OG, right?
Yeah. So I think just from what I've seen on Spotify, because that's pretty much where I listen to all my stuff is, that seems like that you're and
Me too.
I do really enjoy the song, but that Night Move seems to be like your most popular track on that.
Yeah, I did not expect that at all either.
Yeah.
So.
Why didn't you expect that? That's not a track that you're like.
No, I know. I mean, I think the reason is because there's other songs that are, a little more poppy and bright, and it feels like those tend to be the ones that people like. But somehow this weird little dark song is been the most popular one that we've released so far.
Yeah.
So.
It's really interesting to a lot of, and I think to a lot of creative people, it's just that way, where they'll put out something like these are amazing, and this one right here is kind of a piece of crap, and then everybody just flocks to the piece of crap, and you're like, I don't understand it, don't you non-creatives understand that that's not the best?
I've experienced that with this show.
Yeah, right.
Like this is
there's
awesome.
There's lots of times where we get done with a show and he and I are like high-fiving each other and we're like, yeah, this is the best one. And then nobody watches. Nobody listens.
It's a low viewership on this one.
Yeah, right.
It's so strange, man. A lot of that just feels like it's when you release it.
Yeah.
What the metadata is behind the release, what your title was, what the thumbnail is, and I wish I knew how to make stuff pop when I want it to, but
yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting, at least for
our music.
Right?
Yeah, with our music, and listening to some of the tracks, it's just interesting. Even when I'm listening to other stuff where I'm trying to decide if I want to listen, I go through a lot of. I tend to stick with like the tried and trues. Like I'm a classic rock guy, so like I listen to stuff like I don't listen to a ton of new stuff all that often. And I usually will give a track maybe, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 seconds. And then if I don't, if I'm not feeling it, then I move on to something else. And I think a lot of it has to do with like the vibe that you're in at the time too. It makes a
Definitely.
big difference. You
So
can hear a song.
I think we have several songs up there. If you only gave it 15, 20 seconds, the song wouldn't have even really started.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I don't.
Oh,
I
that
can't-
that 80s synthesizer slow build stuff that like you get 40 seconds in before things start to.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's like all I'm listening to right now. It's just synthwave stuff.
That's
This is
cool.
like helps my mind keep going.
Yeah,
Speaking of, what was that
Yes.
there, Jason?
I said the whole synthwave like throwback 80s thing
It's pretty big
just
right now.
makes me feel good.
Oh.
It's like my
Yeah, it
favorite.
makes me feel good.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah,
it.
it's funny when you go back because we just watched the Karate Kid with the kids recently, the first Karate Kid movie, and the montage stuff, the pop rock stuff, and then you have the background
Bill Conti
music is all that,
Yeah.
is all that, keyboardy
Yeah.
stuff, and then I was watching, I caught a clip from, I caught a clip from Miami Vice recently, and I mean, Harold Faltermeyer, I think, and then he was a big guy, Axel F. He did that Axel F song for Beverly Hills Cop, and then I think is it Hammer, Jan Hammer, I think is the guy's name, or Jan Hammer, that did the Miami Vice, thing, like, and I just,
you're schooling me right now. I have no.
Dude, I
was
loved
like,
all
isn't
those.
Harold Faltermeyer on Top Gun?
Yeah, he did. He did the Top Gun theme as well. The instrumental,
right?
Yeah, the instrumental stuff. Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm not gonna do it. Not with
Dad,
Jason
don't
on.
do it.
I'm not gonna ruin music.
But I love the throwback that they do with that synthwave stuff in the Stranger Things.
Yeah, I think that's really
series.
ignited a lot of the return of synthwave. I don't know if it ever went away, but it's definitely very popular right now.
Yeah,
so it's good stuff. I love it.
Definitely didn't hurt it. That's for sure.
Yeah,
No,
right.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we get to the rundown?
Please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. First on the rundown, something we covered on our brand new show, the Nerd Rundown Reactions. Morgan and I did a reaction to this trailer as it came out last week. Missed you on that one, big guy. It was an amazing trailer, one that I've actually grown to have a lot more appreciation for since first watching it. My first watch, you can watch the reaction, like and subscribe, and watch my reaction. I don't not like it. It just, I didn't feel like it blew me away. But the more I've watched it, the more I'm like getting real freaking pumped. So I'm going to start with you, Jason. What did you think of the Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1? As Morg points out very correctly, long title. But what did you think of the trailer?
Yeah, I mean, it was a thrilling looking trailer, but what I could not help but think the entire time I was watching it, after listening to you guys just completely rip on the Fast and the Furious, I could not help but just think like, what in the world differentiates this trailer from that, right? Tom Cruise is I mean, he's basically doing the like anything for the family kind of thing when they're trying to tell him that, he's got to put the mission ahead of the people, and he's telling him, no, I don't, basically, right?
Yeah.
Plus, it's just explosions and actions and crazy CGI, jumping off of mountains, and I mean, sure, it looks thrilling, and I know I'm going to end up watching it, but that was my one thought that I'm hoping I don't get crucified for.
I think it's a legitimate question. Eric,
yeah,
do you
you
have
can.
an answer for it?
I was going to say, yeah, you can have your opinion. You can be wrong about stuff all you want. You know, it's fine. Nobody's gonna rip you on it too hard. So no, my response to that is, I don't see with the Fast and the Furious stuff. I always see as camp. You know, like it's a campy, cheap way of cheese way of getting emotions out of people. Whereas it's with like the Mission Impossible stuff, I think it's to me, it feels more refined and it feels a little more, it makes you work for things a little bit more. Because up to this point, yes, they are a family of sorts, but they don't milk it for everything it's worth. This is the first time in seven movies that we've really gotten to that point where he's actually saying, look, I would, but we all know that he would at any point. Like you just know that he would. Yeah. Yeah, he has, and they've all been together for quite a while. So, but I think, and to go back to the CGI stuff, I struggle with that also because a lot of those stunts and stuff like that he does, it's like, well, you didn't necessarily need to CGI in this or CGI in that by itself is more than enough for me to be like, that was freaking amazing how you did that. Like you rode that motorcycle off the side of a mountain. Like that's freaking amazing, dude. Like that part's not CGI. We made a comment about it earlier when we were talking about it, and Jason's like, and I was like, all right. He's like, oh, reserve my comments for later. But I was like, okay, so I get that, but but I know because I've seen the behind the scenes that he legit did that not once, not twice, but like a dozen times, like 8 times he rode off the end of that thing and smashed up motorcycle after motorcycle after motorcycle,
So what I'm hearing from you really is that you know enough about the background of the way that this movie, that all of these movies are done, and you also actually appreciate the Mission Impossible movies, right?
Well, yes.
Because all I'm saying is that differentiating between the trailers, it's not really a massive difference to me. Like I trust me, I haven't seen a Fast and Furious movie since like the second one.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
That would explain a lot.
I'm not in the camp, but I'm just saying. I still barely can tell the difference between the two types, or the difference between the films. Just
you're not
purely.
the only one, though. You're not in a minority there. There's a general audience for every thematic element. There's a general audience for every genre, I should say. And and yes, these two movies fall in the action genre, so they're going to have similarities, but it's so much more than that when it comes down to more than the general audience and what they appreciate. And I think the first person that'll tell you that what the difference is Vin Diesel. He knows he's not making what Tom Cruise is making, and he embraces what he's making and amplifies it because that's what his audience likes. And then the general audience can come in and be really freaking apparently entertained through these movies. Mission Impossible puts in more work to earn our loyalty, for lack of better words. So
and I know I'm wrong, like I should say I'm probably in the minority when it comes to all of this, because they're, to the tune of $318 million, people have already seen, this Fast X movie. So these things are $1 billion machines, man. Yeah. They churn out $1 billion, so again, there's an audience that's out there that loves to see these things and goes to it and will go watch it, 2 or 3 times, and they just think it's the greatest thing in sliced bread. And then there's me, I watch it and I'm like, I cannot believe that okay, let's relate it back to your music. Like you have other songs that you think should be more popular, but then you're like, but everybody loves that one song, and I don't understand why they like that so much better than I. When I'm like, I don't understand, But so I like I said, I'm in the wrong on because
I don't think that you're in the wrong.
Yeah.
No,
I don't think you're in the wrong either.
Even if you're in the minority, I don't think you're in the wrong. But I mean, here's why you should like Mission Impossible more. Just look at the two big stunts in each trailer, right? So you have the obvious one with Tom Cruise flying his motorcycle off the cliff. You know he did it, right?
Right.
You look at what ended the trailer for the last Fast X trailer, where Vin Diesel's got two semis coming at him, and he freaking pops the car up into the air and then drives it down the Hoover Dam or whatever dam it is,
with a kid in the car. Too, I think.
Yeah,
there's a kid in the car.
You really did that?
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, he totally did. He did it like 8 times. So he did like
respect.
8 times.
I'm in now.
They would have done it 9 times, but the kid died, so they had to stop.
The kid didn't. Yeah.
So that's why you should like it more and appreciate it more, because again, Vin Diesel, he embraces what those movies are, for better or worse. People like them, right?
Sure.
But Mission Impossible definitely looks like a killer movie. We haven't even got to the supporting cast because it looks like they are putting in some work. Simon Pegg, when he's running, he looks legitimately like he is scared out of his mind at what he's running towards or whatever he sees. Great job. My love, Rebecca Ferguson. She doesn't know it yet that we're in love, but she will someday. And sorry, Banana, but you'll understand. No, but Rebecca Ferguson is in top form. Looks like it. Morg asked a question in the reaction. He was supposed to be on tonight, but he has stupid internet. And so I was going to answer his question that he asked in the reaction, and I never got to. But he asked why Rebecca Ferguson had on an eye patch, and I'm just assuming here that she was being a sniper, and it was helping her cover her other eye to shoot. So. If anybody was wondering,
or it was her first day with the new hook on her hand. So,
Peter Pan. Anyway, this trailer kicked ass, and love starting the rundown with it. Even though we did it on the, we reacted to it. It's big enough that wanted to get Erik's thoughts on it, Jason's thoughts on it, but also talk about it more because can't talk about it enough.
I'm excited. Kittredge is back. I love
just his voice. I love the so good.
It's so good. He's got such a distinctive voice. I love Issei Morales. He's amazing, and I'm glad that he's.
I was trying to think of what he was on, and then I had to look it up finally after like a
Ozark
day.
or
Ozark. Yeah. I remember.
Well, but you could go back for him. You could go all the way back to La Bamba, man. He was in La Bamba with Lou Diamond Phillips. Yeah. He was great. He was great, man. He was so good as his older brother. It was.
That's right.
It's a great career and stuff. I'm really excited for. I'm really excited for the movie. I really am. I just
and
think,
Haley Atwell too. I mean, what is she gonna bring to the table? I can't wait for this movie.
Yeah,
and again, it's part 1.
I know that's what we just said before. This was this is freaking part 1. Like what?
Yeah, like
what? That's crazy.
I can't imagine what this movie is going to be. It's just Tom Cruise in full cinema action mode. And
I know I've seen over the last few months, we've seen Tom Cruise address people from different places, or from remote, because he's still filming part 2 at this point. And he's addressed people from South Africa several times, and in one case he was jumping out of a helicopter over the South African coast and stuff, and so it's like, holy smokes. And then I saw where he was congratulated the king. It was really kind of funny because he did two videos where he's flying his P-51 Mustang, his P-51, and he congratulates the king on his coronation and says that he could be his wingman anytime, and then he as he does one of these, where he banks away from you and flies away. And then I saw like 5 minutes later, him again, same plane, same camera plane, except now he's got a Blockbuster video, or not Blockbuster, but MTV Movie Award thing with the popcorn, in the back seat of the plane. You can see it in the back of the plane. And he thanks everybody for voting him as like best action star or something like that. And then he banks the plane away and dives away. So, so he's clearly still on the road, filming.
It's like, I got to do everything big now. I even got to say my thank yous in a big way.
Yeah,
right. It's the premier action franchise. Right. Of course, there's Bond, but when it comes to big time action, Bond only really came about from the Brosnan ones, and that's about the time Mission Impossible started. So,
I can't believe you just said that, but all right. So,
well, you know what I mean, like big time action movies.
No, all right, no, I, James, like if you go back and you look at like Thunderball, like which was. Goldfinger. I mean, those are.
Eric, I think you know what I'm talking about here when it comes to popcorn cinema action movies. When things started getting much bigger in the 90s,
the budgets got bigger.
The budgets got bigger. The movies got bigger. There's no doubt. You can't debate that the Bond movies didn't get bigger once the 90s hit.
Yeah, but
we could say that for another podcast. But
yeah. I'll fight you on that one.
Since the mid 90s,
I was getting so
Mission Impossible versus Bond.
Well, and the first Mission Impossible was terrific.
Yes,
Brian De Palma. I mean, they kicked it off with a terrific director. Brian De Palma was amazing, and that and they had a great cast.
Yep. Let me finish my point.
Yep. Sorry.
So, it's Mission Impossible. It's the only action franchise that got better almost every single movie. Obviously, there's the number two. That is the exception to that rule. But then 3 hit, and 3 was better than 1. 4 was better than 3. 5 better than 4. And then Fallout was one of the greatest action movies of all time. And I can't like this. Now it's going to get even bigger than Fallout. That's a movie I cannot wait to see. So if you have differing opinions, we'd love to hear them in the comments, please. If you think there's another franchise bigger than Mission Impossible in the action franchise, I would love to hear it. So I guess one franchise that does have a little bit of clout in the action genre is the MCU. I don't think that they got better with every movie, even though they were for a while there. But when it comes to, these are some big time updates from MCU. So I'll start off with one at a time here. Jeff Loveness, writer of Ant-Man 3 and current and future writer of Avengers Kang Dynasty, the next big Avengers movie, has been let go. And a lot of that could be from the fallout from Ant-Man 3, but could also be that there was a small-time rumor that he was like releasing info on the internet. And so that could have been a reason for the fallout, and they're using something else as the reason to let him go. But either way, it's not a good look for either side, if you ask me. I thought Ant-Man 3 was okay at best. A little bit of you coming out of theater like, oh, that was pretty good, and then you have time to process it and realize not as good. So for him to be let go as he's writing the next big Avengers movie, that's a pretty big story. Eric, what do you make of this?
Well, I mean, if operational security is, the real reason for him being let go, that's an issue, man. I mean, that's a problem that they have to address. If he's leaking data out that you want to keep secret, then yeah, I mean, you got to tell him, hey, you got to keep your mouth shut. And if you can't keep his mouth shut, you move on to somebody else. So I'm not tied to this guy. I did enjoy Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I don't think it's, like you said, it's not the best that they've ever done. But it's an Ant-Man movie, I mean, that's kind of the way, and it was, I think, kind of leveraged as a vehicle to introduce Kang more than anything else, and really kind of give everybody a taste of what that dude's kind of capable of. So, I what I find fascinating about it is, and apparently the move was made prior to the WGA strike. As we continue to, hey, Hollywood, pay these people, please just pay these people. Because we've all seen what happens when you don't, and things don't go well for you, and don't go well for us as fans.
Right.
I was reminded today.
Of shows that are shut down right now.
Yeah, and I was reminded today. I saw a thing on the interwebs, that the last time that we had a strike was also the last time that you had Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman in a movie together, and they're making another movie right now during the writer's strike. So it's like, okay, that movie was awful, and please don't do that again. So
I hope that doesn't equate.
Yeah, I hope not either.
I don't know.
Figure it out, will you?
That's a good point. Not being tied to this guy. It's not like, he's really something special. Does this give you cause for concern for the future of Avengers movies, Jason?
Why? No, I mean, why would it really? I mean, if his performance thus far hasn't been particularly stunning or special, then no. I mean, there's plenty of people, hopefully, right out there wanting the opportunity to take on something that amazing, and there's amazingly talented people out there. I don't think it's necessarily going to put anything in jeopardy to lose one person, be it the writer or anybody else from that from any Avengers movie.
So they should always have no shortage of talented people. So I think I hope they can get the right person in place, and they get some get working on some redrafts of that movie. It's already got its problems. Avengers King Dynasty with Jonathan Majors. There is some updates on that's coming. We'll tackle this kind of all in one. Premiere dates were released for Loki Season 2 and Echo. And a couple of story beats about each. Loki Season 2 is going to clear up Jonathan Major and Kang's future. So we know he's scheduled to be the big bad of that season as I can't remember his name. He's a variant, obviously, of Kang. And then Echo with Aleko Cox, who premiered in Hawkeye, is getting her own show, and that show has been pushed back a lot, and it finally got its release date, which is, I don't have it up on me right now. I'll get it in a second. It's in November. I think it's Thanksgiving weekend. It's being released all at once. It's different than every other Marvel show that has happened, which has been a weekly release, and that one's getting released all at once. So the big time rumor there is that Feige first watched it and said it's unreleasable, and they had to reshoot a ton of that show. So Marvel is like kind of juggling a lot of things right now. What do you think, Erik?
Well, they are juggling a lot of things right now. There's a lot of balls in the air, and unfortunately, when you start to expand things out further and further, sometimes the quality of the product starts to fall off. And I think that's what we're seeing, is just that the quality of the products are not what we expect from them. They need to be focusing more and more of their resources on what has been working in the past and needs to continue to kind of go that route. And this kind of falls, I think, back on again the CGI team that was working. We had the executive that was fired a little while back, and I think that's one of the other things that could be a potential fallout from all of this as well, is that Feige is starting to see that the people in place are not giving everything they should be giving, and not scrutinizing things the way they should be scrutinized, and really kind of keeping everybody in line. So Kevin's got a lot of stress and a lot of pressure on him, because I don't think his position is as secure as maybe Kathleen Kennedy, who can continue to just put out bomb after bomb, and she gets to keep her job. So, but we'll see how it goes. But here's my issue with the Echo thing. I actually really enjoyed the Echo character in the Hawkeye series. I really liked her. I think a lot of people really liked her. but I don't know that anybody was going, hey, you know what? I really need a series about her, but from what I saw, I was like, okay, well, if they want to do a series on her, I think it would be kind of cool. We've talked about hearing impaired people and having them, be represented more. And I think that was a good opportunity. So frankly, I would rather Kevin Feige step in and say, hey, this is unreleasable. You need to go back and reshoot and do all this stuff than to put out a bomb, basically, and say, hey, well, we tried, and to have, things kind of fall off and have Maya Lopez, who plays Echo, have it be like a failure for her. And it's like, hey, that's not fair to her. That's not fair to the character, because,
that's what he did, right?
Yeah, and that's what he did. Yeah.
I didn't know. I don't remember if any of us said that or not, but yeah. He called it, made them reshoot a huge
almost the whole series. He made them reshoot almost the whole series.
And the release date is November 29th.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was interesting
Loki's
to me
October
too.
6th, while we're on that subject.
Yeah, and it ends November 10th. So right after that ends, they're going to release Echo. And they're dropping every single episode at once. Do you think
which is really interesting.
Like, you think that they have so little confidence in it that they don't think people are going to come back week after week?
I wonder if that's potentially what they're trying to do here, is like, hey, maybe people will binge it over that weekend and we'll be able to do something, or they just don't feel that this is going to be, that they're going to care about it.
Carry the week-to-week star power or the week-to-week MCU
which is interesting, because that's Netflix's whole business model, is to just dump these things on you and you can binge watch everything. Disney has not been that way. They have Disney Plus and all that has been one of those piecemeal. They want to keep you. They always launch it midway through the month so they can get at least 2 months out of you, if you're just a person watching that show or whatever. But
right. Apple Plus has done the same thing with all the shows.
I was gonna say, I feel like Apple Plus and HBO Max, or soon to be Max.
Tomorrow, as we record this on the 22nd, tomorrow HBO Max will just be Max.
Can we talk about that for a second? Because HBO is a brand that I've grown up with, and when you think about the impact HBO has had on nerd culture, the nerd world, my God, HBO is up there in the upper echelon of brands that are just I would have thought irreplaceable, for one, but just like special to my heart. HBO
aren't they just trying to basically scrape off the label of adult programming that HBO has?
Yeah, that's what I had read as well.
Is the main thing. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, but I mean, I remember growing up and not being allowed to watch HBO programs when I was younger, because what was on there was R-rated movies or
Taxi Cab Confessions.
Things that were not kid appropriate, and I think, I guess it makes some sense to try and change that brand, but at the same time, with the new generation coming up, the ones that are already the consumers of all these streaming products, they didn't grow up with that. They grew up with HBO as a streaming platform, and this is already the second or third time, because they were HBO
Go which was, so they had HBO, and then they created an app called HBO Go, which was the exact same thing. Like, there was not a lot of difference, if there was any.
Sure.
But it was still HBO,
Did you guys ever watch the Larry Sanders Show on HBO with Gary Shandling?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There was a sports agent show. Was it Arlo?
Arlo?
No, I can't remember. The guy from Batman was.
Yeah, it was. What's his name? Shoot.
No, what is it? That's gonna drive me nuts.
Yeah,
you might have to look that up. Anyway,
it's not Martin Mull. I know it's not Martin Mull. I'm trying to think who the guy is. I know who you're talking about.
I just want to tip my cap to and salute HBO for the longevity of what they've done. I mean, do you remember like the old HBO? Like, it's just so cool, so iconic.
Well, So, because I want to think that they actually started that whole mini series, like taking a show and doing like a whole 10 episode mini series, if you will, to like a whole new level. And I want to say they started it really with that Rome series. Like I feel like that
Sopranos is the one to think. I think that was the first like big scripted show.
Yeah.
Was HBO, did they do Californication?
Robert Wool.
That was Showtime, I think they did. I believe.
Yeah, it might have been Showtime, yeah.
Okay. Showtime. I don't even think about Showtime anymore. How about that one? That one's gone by the wayside.
Entourage Showtime?
Entourage was
HBO.
Was HBO.
Well, 6 Feet Under. You had Game of Thrones. Well, Game of Thrones is a little later, but early on it was Sopranos, 6 Feet Under. They did Band of Brothers, which was a miniseries.
I was going to say Band of Brothers. They did that one. Like I said, Rome.
6 Feet Under, Rome.
Did they do the Deadwood, or was that somebody else?
Deadwood, like Deadwood took them to another level. What a freaking show that is.
Yeah. And then of course Game of Thrones
then Game of Thrones was like, okay, we're on planet HBO now. Like now HBO owns their own planet and they can do what they want. And then they create so many amazing stories.
The Wire.
The Wire. Oh, that was early on too. That was like early 2000s.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb.
Sex and the City.
I was thinking it was Curb. And Sex and the City. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I forget about Sex and the City.
Yeah.
Their portfolio is huge.
Yeah. I haven't watched Barry. Have you guys watched Barry?
I started it. It was a little bit hard to get into. Other shows are much better for you to catch up on.
Don't forget Big Love.
Oh yeah, Big Love with the Punisher himself. Well, we'll talk about Punisher in a little bit.
True Blood.
True Blood was a big one for them. Oh man, that was a big one.
I've heard that Boardwalk Empire is pretty good too. I never watched it.
I've watched. I think I've watched 1 or 2 seasons of that. I mean, how do you not watch something with Steve Buscemi? Huh?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
All right. So moving on from the MCU, they've got their hands full right now, and I'm trusting in Feige. The new with Bob Iger back, I think Feige has got a lot of weight off his shoulders to like produce, and so he's taking his time on stuff.
Yeah.
Which is great. So to the other part of the world of Disney, the Lucasfilm part of Disney, we've got a few updates here. First is Ahsoka's premiere date. So with Mando season 3, is it 3 now? That's over. The next big Star Wars show to come is Ahsoka, and I'm very excited for this. I'm not a big Clone Wars fan. Again, Penny and I we got through like 4 seasons of it and need to pick it back up. But I've loved what I've seen from Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka so far, and I'm pretty pumped to see this show and how it's going to expand the world of Star Wars. I'll start with you on this one, Jason. Now that we know when it's premiering, is this going to be on your must-watch list come 8/31?
Absolutely, man. I am a pretty big fan of the Clone Wars animated series. And then she
cartoons?
also, right, all the adult cartoons. But Ahsoka was a great character, and she carries over into Rebels, which is what they're gonna really. That's the time frame this is taking place. So you're gonna get like Sabine is gonna be in it. Sabine Wren. What in the world is that?
Hera Syndulla.
Ezra Bridger is going to be in it.
Ezra Bridger's in it. And is it Jeb? No, not Jeb. Meb? I don't know. It's a Star Wars name. Something. He appeared in Mando. He had a cameo in Mando. He's I don't know. Either way, it is going to be like the live action continuation of the Rebels TV show for sure.
And I saw Anakin is supposed to be in it as well.
Oh yeah, Hayden Christensen is returning as, I don't know if it'll probably be like Obi-Wan. I hope they actually de-age him this time, but yeah,
we'll see. Dave Tennant is playing the droid Hu Yang, which he also voiced in the animated series. And David Tennant's one of I'm a huge
greatest.
Doctor Who fan.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
the
yeah.
greatest actors of alive.
Yeah, insanely good. Only my second favorite Doctor. Sorry, David, but
Oh.
Matt Smith all the way.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I
you are a
still
Matt
am
Smith
very,
fan.
very excited.
David
Big
Tennant
fan.
for the general audience out there, you would know him from Broadchurch,
Mela,
or even maybe from his turn in Jessica Jones as the Purple Man. What a great job he did in that show.
Yeah, but if you don't know him from Doctor Who, go watch Doctor Who.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's one thing I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get into. But
oh man, that makes me so sad.
all right,
He also
so
is, in the Harry Potter.
Super excited.
super
In
excited.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Eric, I know you haven't watched the shows, Clone Wars or Rebels. I'm not even sure you've watched Mando season 3 yet.
Haven't.
But
Nope.
you did see her premiere in season 2 of Mandalorian. And you got some good stuff from that episode.
Terrific.
Is this going to be on your must-watch list when it comes out?
Yeah, that episode was great. That was Michael Biehn was in that episode, also another one of my favorite actors. So, and Rosaria Dawson, I just think is just a terrific talent. So she's just, in addition to just being kind of a good-looking lady, she's also immensely talented as an actor. So, I'm actually looking forward to this one. I think I might be looking forward to this one more than I was looking forward to season 3 of The Mandalorian. I really,
for sure.
I just I liked what I saw from her character in that episode of The Mandalorian, and so I wanted to see more. Plus, I'm more, I don't know how to kind of put this, but I guess I'm more, I know it sounds weird, but I'm actually more invested in her emotionally due to the person that she's hunting, if you will. So having read all of the Timothy Zahn books, I know the Grand Admiral Thrawn character. I just love that character, and so the fact that she's after him is just super cool. Like I just
I can't
just
wait.
love that.
And he's confirmed to be the big bad of Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie,
which is great.
We even had a rumor. I'm not reporting on this rumor, I promise. Because it was debunked a day later, but the rumor was that the Dave Filoni Star Wars movie is going to be titled Heir to the Empire, which for one day got people excited, and it got debunked. Doesn't mean that it's not still going to be Heir to the Empire, but that's the name of the Timothy Zahn books that introduced Grand Admiral Thrawn as up there as one of the greatest big bads in Star Wars history.
Yeah.
Incredible bad guy. The sequel trilogy should have been this trilogy. But
so you've seen, Jason, just sorry, Darren, to sidetrack you here. You have watched Clone Wars and you have watched Rebels, then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Thrawn's in Rebels.
I was going to say, isn't Thrawn in one of those series? So
yeah, he's in Rebels. He also is he's in. Well, actually, I don't know if he's in any game other than he's in the Galaxy of Heroes Star Wars game.
Okay.
And I mean, and he's just this master tactician in that as well. So he's an incredible leader and support character in that game. So
he's a villain, unlike any of the other ones that they've kind of faced, which I think is great. That's exactly what you need. You need
he's not
I don't
Jedi.
need a rehash. Yeah, I don't need a rehash of another Dark Jedi. I need something different, So
I do really hope Mara Jade gets introduced.
I was gonna say, Mara Jade, please just give me some Mara Jade.
And honestly, it would actually be really cool if they tied it into Luke's downfall, as like maybe he's emotionally wrought from Mara Jade dying or something, and he makes emotional decisions, which are never a really good thing to do, and that's what led him to turn on Ben, which you
could retcon it a little bit.
Yeah,
least,
it would go a long way in at least repairing some damage.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
What's that, Jason?
Speaking of
Good luck.
damage,
That was a big damage, man.
Well, Star Wars damage, when it comes down hard. So Disney World is closing down its galactic, I'm using air quotes, galactic Star Cruiser after only 1 year of being open. It was a massive failure. It was a massive failure on many levels, not just financially. But no fans were really a fan of it. No Star Wars fans were a fan of it. So
Can you tell me what it really was? Because I've been to the Star Wars world at Disney, and I missed that. If it's there,
it wasn't.
did not even
Yeah.
go. Okay, and
It wasn't there.
Before this, I just watched like some guy's 26-minute walk through on YouTube.
You watched the whole thing.
and yeah, I skipped around a little bit, but it kind of felt like it explained itself as
Here's
to why
a door, and here's another door, and here's another door. Like there's 26 minutes.
So it was off site. Was it off site?
It was not at Hollywood Studios. So it was around the Hollywood. So the Hollywood Studios is where they have all of the Star Wars land that you went to. So it was off site from Hollywood Studios, right near it. But and when you go down one of the roads, you actually can see the backside of the facility. But it was a hotel, and it was like an experience as well as a hotel. It was $1,500. I want to say $1,500 per person. I think is what they were charging, and it was a 2-day stay. You couldn't stay any longer than 2 days, and you couldn't stay any less than 2 days. So you're talking 10, 12 grand for a family of 4 or whatever to go on this to do it. Yeah. And I mean, this doesn't make any sense. I mean, yeah, there's plenty of rich Star Wars fans out there, but I don't think there's that many rich Star Wars fans out there. And so the experience, I mean, everything was super cool about it. It seemed like it was really cool. Like, all the rooms were Star Wars themed rooms that, they looked like a ship, looked like you were on a ship. And then a lot of the other stuff.
So are like half the Airbnbs in Florida. So.
yeah, right. So, I mean, it just, I just think it was priced way out of, just, it reminded me when I heard about it, it reminded me of the first Jurassic Park where the guy goes, we're going to make a fortune with this place, and he's like, well, it's not just for the super rich. And he's like, yeah, we'll have like a coupon day, and like, and I remember thinking about that when I watched that Star Wars, when they released it was going to be like $1,500 per person per night. I was like, will we get a coupon day for like the rest of us who who aren't going to spend that much money? So
here's a little blurb. It says, unfortunately, Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser was met with mixed reviews from the start, with trips starting at $4,809 for 2 guests in a standard cabin and going upwards of $6,000 for a family. It was out of reach for many visitors from the start. Its offerings were also hit and miss, with the supposed immersive experiences boiling down to games primarily aimed at children and role-play interactions that would only really appeal to the most hardcore of Star Wars fans. So
yeah, and unfortunately, those people are hardcore Star Wars fans that aren't billionaires. Like they aren't or multimillionaires. So
yeah.
Right.
Well, no one bites the dust. All right, so it's my time to eat crow, I guess.
Hey,
I have vehemently defended Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now I'm not eating the full crow. I'll keep some pieces for the audience score, because it's the audience score that I really, really, really trust here. But the early reviews of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny are not good. It opened at 43% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's currently sitting at 47%.
49.
49 now.
49.
Did we get a couple?
It's climbing. It's slowly coming out of the basement.
Well, maybe by the time it actually premieres, it might have a favorable. I think you have to get to 60% to get considered
not be
fresh.
a splat.
Yeah.
Was Tenacious D in this one?
You know what? It is getting torn up. I've seen a couple pieces of the reviews. Cheesy lines, bad storyline, uninspired performances. Harrison Ford is getting a lot of praise for his turn as Indy this time. So there is that. If there's one piece you're going to get right, might as well get that one right. So, eating that crow right now, as it's looking like this is not going to be the hit. And really, I mean, really feel bad for James Mangold, because that dude has put out nothing but gold. So can't hit a homer every time, right, Erik?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I know Morgan, I think, is the one who's been
He's
the most critical of this, but I have been equally as cautious. I have such a bad taste in my mouth from the Crystal Skull. That just was so awful. And I was hoping this was better, but I think it doesn't sound like it. It doesn't sound like it was better. Am I going to see it? Yes, I'm going to go see it, but then I'll take the kids to see it, I'm sure, too, because there seem to be safe movies that you can take your kids to and stuff like that and still be kind of action packed. But I don't know. I just, it just kind of makes me sad, I guess, overall, because I just, the first three movies were just really
magical.
Really terrific. Yeah, I mean, Raiders of the Lost Ark was just incredible, and
probably close to a perfect movie.
Yeah, right. And then my second favorite is the Last Crusade. I just really love the Last Crusade. I thought that was a really great movie.
It's probably my favorite.
Yeah. So and then the other one too, the pulling beating hearts out of people's chests was it's always a crowd pleaser, if you're yeah, right. It's always a crowd pleaser there. So,
that's good. I'm still gonna go see it. Jason, are you still gonna go see it? Or are you gonna wait for home release?
I'll wait for home release. I never even made it all the way through Crystal Skull. I tried watching it at home.
Look at you.
Things were going on. Got distracted and never felt compelled to go finish it. So
I think
so it doesn't make me super excited to go see this one, but I will. I'll try. I mean, when I see it pop up somewhere, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna
Disney Plus.
It will be Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've told this story, but like when I saw Crystal Skull, I went and saw it opening night.
Mm-hmm.
I had a date with a girl it was like our second date that I'd gone on with this girl, and she was like a huge Indiana Jones fan. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited for this movie." And I was like, "Hey, let's go." I got us like opening night tickets.
Where'd
it was like a midnight. It was like an 10 or 11 o'clock opening night show, so I was super excited to go see it. And I just remember the opening sequence where they're in that hangar, and like it clearly was a movie set. Like it wasn't even like the lighting, the stuff looked so fake. And I was like, I looked over at her and she was just eating it up. And I was like, because I would have walked out of the movie right there. Like if it was just me, I would have walked out of the movie right at that point. Cause I knew at that point in the movie, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be awful, and it was, but I stuck around the whole thing and it never got any better. So
yeah. I think it got worse as the seconds ticked on. So you probably left at a good time there.
Monkeys swinging and just.
You know what? It's the greatest ending in movie history, Jason, and you missed it. You should go watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no way I could ever watch it now. It won't let me.
Well, speaking of Indiana Jones on Disney Plus, all 4 of the previous Indiana Jones will be released on May 31st. So stream Indiana Jones as much as you possibly can, because it doesn't get much better than the first 3.
I'm actually excited because it's been a really long time, and I think we had talked about this before. The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones is also coming to Disney. So it's not just the movies, but it's also the series. And
Great series.
We have talked about, maybe recasting that and going back further. Like if you wanted to continue to do the Indiana Jones stuff, you could recast him and have a more adventurous series, maybe that you could do or something along those lines. I think it would be a lot more fun.
Get the writers from that show, to
do
it. So that'd be great.
Yep.
That's a really great point. Because I'll watch that show when it comes back on. That's going to be
I'm actually planning on adding that one to the rotation for sure.
Yeah.
So
I'm just on IMDb checking it out. I don't think I ever saw this.
Oh man.
Oh, it was really a good show. Like it was a fun show to watch.
I think it was on Fox, like late afternoon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Back in '92.
Yeah. It was pretty sick.
Yeah. Somehow I missed this, so that I'm actually really excited about
it's really
seeing
good.
that.
Yeah,
it's really good. I can't wait to see. I'm sure it'll hold up. I'm sure it will. So
I'm hoping that it does, because it wasn't like it was super high budget or anything.
And it wasn't
but,
made for kids when I was a kid watching it, and it wasn't like a made for kids show. So
yeah.
All right, next on the rundown, a little bit of sad news. Man, got this one today. Ray Stevenson passes away right before his 59th birthday. Ray Stevenson has been in so many movies, but I wanted to get you guys' take on what your favorite Ray Stevenson performance is. I'll give mine. It's, you know what? Go ahead. Go ahead, Jason or Eric. I bet you have a Ray Stevenson movie loaded in the canon. What's your favorite Ray Stevenson performance?
I didn't like the movie, but I thought he was great as the Punisher. Like I really liked him as the Punisher in his version of the Punisher that they did. So I thought it was not my favorite, of the movies. I'm not even talking about the series or anything like that, but his Frank Castle I thought was pretty good. I thought he was really good in that. I loved.
It's an absurd movie.
Really,
absurd. But he's great.
He has a great. So, one of my favorite movies though is The Other Guys, and with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell, and he plays the bad guy in it, and then he has this funny line about Kylie Minogue and how like that's his favorite. That's his favorite singer or something, and I can't remember how the line goes, but he talks about like he loves Kylie Minogue or something like that. But anyhow, those are probably my two favorites from him. But the dude's been around a long time, and he's got a lot of great stuff on his
big time
on his resume. Yeah,
Jason, do you have a favorite Ray Stevenson performance?
I did not know him by name even before the announcement today. So I did start looking back through stuff, and I'd say that just offhand, it would be Volstagg in Ragnarok.
It's pretty good. Really, Thor 1 was his really shining armor on that one.
Yeah, I mean, he's got quite a few movies in here that I've seen, but I'm not familiar enough with the characters that he played in most of them.
I was first introduced to Ray Stevenson as Dagonet in King Arthur, and that will forever be my favorite Ray Stevenson performance. He like adopts this kid in the movie, and he's like this big, strong, just bruiser of a dude. And he shows this gentle side as like this fatherly figure person to this kid, and he's so good in the role. Like he goes from like this gentle dad to like freaking absolute warrior in that movie, and that's an underrated movie. I love
that's Clive
directors.
Owens.
Yep, Clive Owens, King Arthur. Antoine Fuqua directed it. His director's cut is like it's one of those times where the director's cut just blows the regular version away. A lot of big names in that movie. Maybe not at the time, but obviously Clive Owen was coming into his own. There was Stephen Delane, who you might know as not Robert Baratheon, but Stannis Baratheon in Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Joel Edgerton, Mads Mikkelsen, Keira Knightley, Stellan Skarsgård, Ray Stevenson, Hugh Dancy. Hugh Dancy? Dancy? Yeah, he's Dancy.
Yeah, Dancy.
Yeah. He what's that show he did with Mads Mikkelsen where he was Hannibal? Was it Hannibal? Or that show?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that. So big cast, great movie. Watch the director's cut of that movie. Ray Stevenson is
he was
dynamite.
Ella Enchanted, right? Did you see that one?
Which one?
Ella Enchanted. Did you ever see that?
No.
It's just a really, really silly musical adaptation of Cinderella, and it actually is wonderful to watch.
I remember the name.
I'm not gonna tell you. Yeah, it's
my niece's name.
I don't know why I can't think of her name. The girl from Princess Diaries that I should
Anne
know.
Hathaway?
Yes, she's the
Princess
star.
Diaries.
Yeah, she's the star of that, and
I do remember that. I remember the movie. I don't think I've seen it, but I'm surprised I haven't with two girls. So
yeah, me too.
Did you guys remember when Clive Owen? Not to get off the Ray Stevenson stuff, but I mean, talking about Clive Owen. Did you guys ever watch? Did you watch those BMW? Do you remember those BMW commercials that like they had like it was called like The Driver, and it was like a series of short films that BMW did with Clive Owen as the driver, and he had to get like this. It was like way back like 2000, 2001 or something like that. But that's the first thing I ever
remember. That didn't that become the hit, like that Hitman movie he did?
Well, I think it eventually, it may have moved into a series or whatever, but it was like, I want to say they had like John Frankenheimer directed one of them.
Oh,
and wow. Like, it was like a series of short films that like John Woo, I think, did one, and like Guy Ritchie, I think, did one. It was like a whole series of these car chase deals that they did. I'll have to see if I can find it, but it was really cool. It was really cool.
A little like 11-minute movie for it called The Escape.
Yeah,
and this is in this homage to the 15th anniversary of the original series of BMW short films. The driver is hired to deliver a living human clone. And it's kind of crazy. They get John Bernthal, Vera Farmiga, Dakota Fanning to be in this 11-minute film.
It's crazy. And there's 8, like I remember there's like, now I'm looking at it's called The Hire, and it's 8 short films that they did, and they had like
camp directed that.
Yeah, it was really cool. And like each episode featured like a different BMW car.
Oh. Were you okay with that?
Well, I did hear something really kind of funny this week about BMWs. I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was like, what's the difference between a BMW and a porcupine? And I think the punchline was that with a porcupine, the pricks are on the outside. So
we love you, BMW drivers.
I also love how aloof you were trying to be with that.
I heard this recently.
I'm not sure if I remember
it.
I remember if I remember this one right. Anyhow, if you get a chance, check out The Hire. You can find it.
I'm definitely gonna The Hire and The Escape, both. Yeah. Man, that's cool. I didn't know about that.
Now, did you guys watch the Vikings show at all?
I did.
Because he was on that Vikings show. Moving back to Ray Stevenson, he was on that Vikings show, and I've heard nothing but like good stuff about that Vikings series.
Was he?
Yeah, same. I haven't watched. I've watched the first 2 episodes of that, but
he was in 11 episodes, season 6.
Oh, I do not remember him in that show. We stopped watching it. Before it, he may have appeared in the more recent episodes. I don't want to say when we stopped watching it for spoilers, but really great. First like 4 seasons, first 4 or 5 seasons are dynamite. Awesome.
Are they?
Yeah.
Did you guys watch that Black Sails as well?
No, but I've heard that. It's really good
Yeah,
too.
I've heard nothing but good things about that too.
Yeah.
I've tried to get
Zero.
Banana on the pirate train, and she will not jump on anything pirates. She can't do
So
pirates.
Ray Stevenson was the voice of Gar Saxon in the Clone Wars animated series as well.
Oh, that's
saw that,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was in Black Sails for 11 episodes.
Well, and he's coming up. He's got he's like the main villain in the Acolyte coming up for Star Wars.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's one of the two like we don't know what they are because they're not Jedi or Sith. But yeah, that trailer that just debuted at Star Wars Celebration about a month ago.
Yeah.
He's like one of the main guys, one of the main bad guys in that.
Well, I could see looking at the upcoming stuff.
He's in Ahsoka.
He's in Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Balon Skull is looks like the name, and he's confirmed in at least one episode, but that's just what they're confirming. So he may be in more, and we just haven't seen it.
Yeah,
that's just sad, man. 58 years old, I think is.
Yeah, he was a few days shy of 59.
Yeah,
he's a real talent, and he was great as Volstagg, and especially in Thor 1 when the Warriors 3 got their big turn.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sad, and he really was a good Punisher in a terrible Punisher movie. So
yeah,
no fault to Ray Stevenson. Let's move to the trailer train. We got 2 trailers. Really could not be more different from each other.
Agreed. Yeah.
First one is from Martin Scorsese, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, called Killers of the Flower Moon. And right off the bat, didn't do anything for me. It's just didn't seem like something that was going to catch my attention with this trailer. Eric, did you feel the same way?
Agreed. Yeah. I maybe if they cut a new trailer and whatever, but I don't. This one doesn't. This one just doesn't do anything for me. It seems what I've heard is DiCaprio. This might be his best performance ever. Is what I've heard. I've also heard that the main actress in it was terrific as well in her performance, and I think she's fairly new on the scene. If I remember right or whatever. But
what was that, Jason?
Is that Lily Gladstone? That's the main.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just I don't. Lily Gladstone. She plays Molly Burkhart, I think, in it.
I'm not pulling that out of my head. I'm just looking at.
But
because I don't know the characters, it just lists them by name. But I think that's her.
My understanding is she got like a standing ovation at Cannes, I think, because they premiered that movie at Cannes recently, and the crowd loved it.
It wasn't anything to do with the performances for me, as far as like what I like. It seemed like you could tell people were putting in some work. Even De Niro, he looked a little unrecognizable at times.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser, got to see him in it a little bit. He showed up in one of the clips.
Him. I didn't see him.
Good to see him.
Go back
showing up a little bit more. John Lithgow is supposed to be in it. I don't remember seeing him in the trailer, but always enjoyed John Lithgow.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Like the plot, whatever was going on, just didn't catch me. So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe as we get closer to release date and we see a different trailer or whatever, I'll make a determination. But 3 hours and 26 minutes, my friends. If you're going to sit through that one, it's 3 hours and 26 minutes.
I actually felt that, from what I'm picking up of the storyline, that it would have been interesting. I don't know at 3 hours and 20 odd minutes that it would be, but my it's odd that you said everybody is saying it's Leonardo DiCaprio's best performance, because the worst part of the trailer to me is the voice that
right.
Actual voice that he's using for this character while he's speaking over the entire trailer feels poorly acted. And it may not be once you're watching it and you get to see like what's going on.
Yeah.
But it did not feel like a good it didn't feel good to me at all. Like, I didn't.
It wasn't pleasing to your
I,
ears.
I was looking at the cast and they're just going, whoa, like
Yeah.
this is probably a great movie, but
Yeah.
bad.
Well,
Yeah.
it looked boring to me.
Sure.
But the next one did not. The next one is starring John David Washington, the creator. And this one definitely got my hype train going. I'll start with you, Jason, and go back to Erik. And what did you think, Jay Sparks?
I mean, I think it looks amazing, honestly.
Yeah.
Like visually, it looks great. The story looks great. It's got like, Terminator 7 vibes or something. But
in a good way.
But I mean, in a great way, which I probably should have said 8 because they're making 7, right? Terminator 7.
Something like
Anyways,
that, yeah.
Yep. Anyways, I mean, it's a phenomenal looking trailer. I mean, it looks like a pending apocalypse because AI is going to wipe out humanity, but then a man meets an AI and feels the actual connection with that AI, and looks like there's just a struggle there, right?
Yeah. Gareth Edwards.
I mean, it looks.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, that was it.
Oh, Gareth Edwards is directing. He directed Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
I think he directed the first Godzilla movie too.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So he's getting some recognition here. Erik, what do you think? What do you think about this trailer?
I loved it. Loved it. I really did. I thought the look of the robots, I guess, or whatever they are, I don't know whether they kind of allude to this or they talk about this AI, but I don't know that what we're seeing is actually the AI or whatever. It could be
right.
They could be just like you have Skynet, like you were saying, Jason, about being like a Terminator. Like maybe the Skynet is, because it seemed like they had like this big thing in space that maybe that was where the AI is, and then maybe you have like these little robots that get built and sent out, and that so then you get like kind of this sentient fight of whether or not these things are actually sentient and whether or not they're have feelings or whatever, and all that stuff. John David Washington, the dude definitely takes after his pop. Like he's got some skills, when it comes to acting and stuff. I mean, the guy is just phenomenal.
Looks intense.
Ken Watanabe's in it. I love that. And it's really cool seeing him with that. They have those cylinder things like in the back of their heads and stuff. It was a little freaky,
it's
but
a little unsettling to look at.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, that's pretty doggone cool. But yeah, this one I got done watching it and I was like, oh, I need to watch that again. And I actually watched it like 3 times in a row just to catch like everything, because I was like, wow, this looks really cool, like really cool. And I'm a sci-fi nerd, so I like all that stuff. But
it looks really awesome. Yeah, it took me by surprise.
Jay hit it right. I think it to me it has a very Terminator feel to it. Like it has very much a Terminator feel to it.
Maybe even a little iRobot.
Yeah.
AI
you could start going into any of those ethical ones. What's the Neil Blomkamp ones? The
District 9.
Well, the other District 9, but what was the other one? That's Chappie.
Chappie.
The Chappie movie that he did. I think he did that one.
Yeah, that was Neil Blomkamp. Yeah. Whoa, 2 Neil Blomkamp references in like 10 minutes. That's not bad.
Yeah. That guy doesn't get enough.
He doesn't get enough credit. I'll give him that. All right, Mike Hodgkinson has a Nerdbox question for us.
All right.
He's been busy writing his book, but took some time out to send us a question. He always sends in good ones. This one, though, feel a little weird reading it, but we appreciate the kind words, Mike. He says, congrats on the reactions. He says, I love the quick pace and the background music. I wish you had them sooner. And with that, what else do you plan on reacting to? And what do you wish you could have reacted to in the past? He says, I wish you had this up during Endgame to react to that trailer, because I know that man loves him some Endgame. So thank you, Mike. I hope your book writing is going well.
Yeah. Good fortune to you, my friend. Hopefully that goes well for you.
Yeah. So I will say, we'll just right now, we're going to be reacting to some of the big trailers that come out. If that expands, that could expand to TV shows, but my goodness, the process to put one of these things on the air is a process. So I can't imagine editing a 45-minute TV show, because it takes me like 4 days to edit a trailer. So either way, keep an eye out for more Nerd Rundown reactions to the big trailers. You know, we love trailers here, so we're reacting to that. I do wish we had the reactions during the in-game time frame, because there were some really great trailers for both Infinity War and for in-game. That would have been awesome. But I don't know. If I could have react to the episode 1 trailers back in the day, that would have been sick. I mean, I loved trailers before that, but that was like a whole new world for me, where like I was in high school and I could access the internet and I could watch trailers like nonstop, and that's what I did instead of doing homework. But you know, I wish I could have live reacted to those trailers. That was a good time. I don't know, Eric, you got anything?
I was just thinking that episode 1 trailer, like the teaser that they had, where it like it's like that big open field, you know, and then those things come over the side, and I remember thinking, you know, like that was so cool. I think I need to go back and look at that trailer and think to myself, it's as good as it got. Good as it got. So.
I don't know. The first time I saw Darth Maul on screen, it was in that trailer, and he freaking ignited the double-bladed lightsaber.
When that happened, I about lost it. You know, I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. You know, and I think I will tell you this. My buddy and I, we went and bought tickets for a movie that we never even watched, just so we could go see the trailer on the big screen for episode 1. I can't remember what movie it was, but
I did for episode 2 for sure.
But yeah, like we bought tickets for a movie, and I cannot think of what the movie is. Me and my buddy Mark Thiel, we were so excited about that movie, and we were like, hey, I think the trailer's in front of this movie. I think they told us, they're like, hey, the trailer's in front of this movie. You know, if you want to go, and we did. We were like, we're going to watch it, and just to see it on that big screen, because it was just
I just love that you've always been this dude.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the exact same guy right now.
Yeah. Love it. I episode 2, I bought a ticket to Monsters Inc. Watched the trailer and walked out.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because back then it debuted in theaters, and then it got released online like a week or so later.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to watch it, you had to go see it in the theater. And the episode 2 trailers might be better than the episode 1 trailers. So I think it was that. Yeah. Oh man, it was so cool. It just was so much fun. I would say if I were to go back, like just over the life, I would just say over the lifetime of this podcast. Yeah. That's a good parameter.
I kind of limit myself to just the parameters of kind of seeing that one, it would be it would probably be the Top Gun Maverick trailer, that, you know, that first trailer that came out, because
although that first trailer came out well before we started the podcast, because it got delayed.
Right. Oh, that's right. I guess it did, didn't it? Yeah, we got to see a little bit of it. And then it got delayed. So I guess of recent, that's the biggest trailer that I can think of that I was just the most anticipated in my life, you know, and stuff, as far as like things I was really, really excited to watch. Maybe if you went back to the Star Trek, the reboot of Star Trek in like 2009, I think I was pretty excited to see that one.
That trailer was sick, dude. That was one of the best trailers of all time. It had one song throughout. It started with the trailer, and gosh, what was the name of that song? I don't remember. I can look it up when it's not my turn. But it freaking, I love that trailer. Got me into to go see
Got
that
you into
movie.
Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like it pulled you in. You know, JJ Abrams, for all of his faults, it's he's a great dude.
Yeah,
So.
love JJ Abrams. He's one of us. You know.
Yep.
Bro's lost. What's that, Jason?
Oh man, I would have to I would have to say, keeping it within the lifetime of the podcast, and I would not have even known that this is what I would have wanted to react to, except I have seen the trailer. Cocaine Bear.
Oh,
Totally, dude. Yes,
that was a
that's
pretty
brilliant.
life-changing trailer.
That is
actually.
brilliant.
That would have just been such a fun thing, like a fun
Yes.
thing to have done a reaction. You know,
Yes.
it would have been. It would have just been fun. It would have been. I wouldn't have been worried about, you know, how great some thing looked or whether or not the storyline was gonna fit. Like it just would be a great fun thing to have reacted.
Oh my gosh, you're totally spot on.
A great answer.
That is a great answer. Yeah. Now you've watched Cocaine Bear. You've seen it.
Oh no, I just mean the trailer itself.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to see Cocaine Bear. I'm definitely gonna watch the movie, but
I want to watch it. Like I think it's out, right? Is it out on
I think
streaming?
it's out on streaming.
Yeah, I think it's out on streaming at this point. Yeah, I'm not sure where. I'm not sure where it's at. But the trailer was terrific. The whole premise to the thing is terrific.
Yeah,
and I love that the Elizabeth Banks and like the rest of the team, they were like, "Look, we'll make this movie, but you can't mess with the title. Like the title needs to be Cocaine Bear, and we won't do the movie if you try and change it.
That's
great.
Like
Like it has to be Cocaine Bear." And they were like, "All right, you can do it."
So you can stream it on Peacock or rent or buy it on Amazon Prime.
Got it.
Oh, okay. All right.
There you go.
Good. Thanks.
I'll be getting on that this week.
That
yeah.
That is like that is a really good answer. Like if you think about just movies that you're like, what is this going to be? And you're like, what in the world? I think about
I thought it was a joke when because one of my friends sent me the trailer, and I honestly, you know, I thought it was going to be.
You didn't know, like,
right?
Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, it was like when people started sending all those like AI trailers. I don't know if you guys got a bunch.
Yeah. The Wes Anderson stuff. Yeah.
The Wes Anderson Star
That
Wars.
was pretty funny.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was something like that at first, and just like a spoof, like something somebody made about on YouTube. But
right.
Nope, it's real.
It's real.
It's a real thing.
True.
Real thing.
And loosely.
Tell you about it.
Loosely based on
loosely.
A true story.
Very, very, very loosely based on a true story. There was a bear. There was cocaine.
Hey, let's get started on. I got some ideas for that. You know, like
right.
Freedom Fighters from Two Steps from Hell is the song that's on the Star Trek trailer. That is so good. It's
okay.
Like I said, it did get me into Star Trek. So that's pretty powerful stuff. All right.
Bella.
Thank you, Mike. Good luck on the rest of your book. Can't wait to read it. It's a zombie book, so it's gonna be right up your guys' alley. All right, Jason, Sparks, Baretta May. Check out the new EP. It's called, what's it called again?
Feel Alive.
Feel Alive. Check it out on Spotify. Check out the rest of the stuff on Spotify. It's just dynamite music. We love you, Jason. We appreciate you, and we owe you so much. So you are welcome on the show anytime.
I love you guys, and you've always been incredible to us. So thank you for that as well.
Yeah, I love both tracks, Jay. They're both really, really good. You know, I imagine for you, it's probably hard to pick like your kids or whatever. But like, what do you? I really like the Dive. I just call it Dive, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed that track. I thought that was really good. I've listened to it a couple times. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Will one of the tour stops be here in Colorado?
Yes.
Where can I live?
Yeah. Can we get into the green room is really all I want to know. Like, I'll pay for a ticket, but I
Backstage
just,
pass.
just want to.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. All right. I know him.
That
I'm with
needs
the
to
band.
happen, okay?
I'm with the band.
Yeah. We need
Yeah,
backstage
we
passes.
should be.
We'll live
We should
stream
be
it.
in Colorado Springs. Should be
Yeah.
in Colorado Springs and Denver also. So
Okay. Well, I'll be
What's
there.
the
I'll let you know.
hey, my girlfriend's in there, man. Hey, lots of guys' girlfriends are in there. Great stuff.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, welcome back anytime. Please, Jason, come on anytime you want. Okay.
Yep. Thanks, brother.
All right. Well, I what a great show. Love some of the things we covered here with Mission Impossible and MCU, Lucasfilm. A lot of updates going on through there. But just hanging out with you two is the highlight of my week always. Love it. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. And with that being said, we'll see you all on the Nerd Rundown.
See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.